This video we are going to be looking at regression analysis. A regression analysis basically produces the numerical value for a parameter of independence variable. Like I write this now, I just have let's use a theory of supply. Qs equals B0 plus B1x. So this is my price now. This is my price. So I want to look at the parameter, the value of this parameter. The value of this parameter. This is constant variable now. So I want to look at the constant variable and I want to look at this explanatory variable. So it's different from what I'm looking at. I'm looking for the plus, or whether plus or minus the sign here. If I'm looking for the sign, that is I'm using correlation. But now I'm not looking for the sign, I'm looking for the parameter, the numerical value of this parameter. That is what I'm looking for. So anytime we are looking for parameter of a particular independent variable, what we are trying to do is to work under regression analysis. And when you talk about regression analysis like correlation is just like they have a different, different measure. We have multiple regression analysis. We also have a simple regression analysis. When you look at simple regression analysis, that is, you are looking at the relationship that exists between one explanatory variable and dependent variable, like just what we have here now. This is one explanatory variable now and dependent variable, which is quantity supply. But when you are looking at multiple regression analysis, it means that you are looking at many explanatory variables. So you can include so many things, to this model now. You can include so many variables that determine this quantity supply. But as we are writing now, this is just one explanatory variable that is simple. When we had one more or more, then when we have more variables to this dependent variable, that means becomes multiple regression. Now, today we are going to be looking at a simple regression analysis, that we are going to be looking at the relationship that exists between two variables, that is one independent variable and dependent variable. And we are going to be using theory of supply. Using theory of supply, we are saying the higher the price, the higher the quantity supply. Now, when we say the higher the price, the higher the quantity supply, what we are trying to say, that is theory, of course. And when you make a theory, you need to make a specification. That is, you need to convert it into model. Now, this is our theory: the higher the price, the higher the quantity supply. So we have to create a model for that particular statement we have made, and this is what we are having here now. This is the model for that economic statement. This is the model. Now, having written the model now, we don't have business with plus today, that is correlation, but we want to check this parameter. This is constant. This is the main explanatory variable. Now, you see this constant B0 now, it can be of different values, and that will determine our intercept. If B0 is, that is, let me just put it this way, our B0 can be positive and it can also be 0. When B0 equals 0, it means that if there is no price, for that commodity, that can never be supplied. That is B0. And we can have something like this for that. So if this is price, then this is quantity supply. So it's going to start from 0 here, origin. It means that without price, we cannot supply anything. Now, but when our B0 is positive, it means B0 is positive. It can be 2, it can be 4, it can be 5. When it is positive, it means that even without, let's say it's 2. If it is 2, that is, even without price, that will still be supply. Even without price, that will be. So if your B0, which is constant variable, is positive, it means that the intercept will be like this. It means that without price, we can supply. But if it is 0, we cannot supply without price. That is about this B0. But let's go to this one, which is the major one. And how do you get this now? What is the meaning of this? This is the degree of relationship that exists between the price and quantity supply. Now, this is the statement we have made concerning this. But this statement, according to this model, it means that it's the exact. It means there is no other relationship, there is no other variable that can determine supply except this. And that is not correct in reality. So as an econometrician, what you are going to do is, in order to ensure that you put it right, you need to introduce a particular term, which is stochastic term. Stochastic term will give you a good relationship. This is what I'm saying. Let me give you this example here. Now look at this, what I'm drawing here now. If I draw this way, I have something like this, I have something like this. If you look at this now, okay, let me say I have something like this, I have something like this. No, this is scatter diagram, of course. This is a scatter diagram. Now, this scatter diagram, now I can make a line out of it, a line. So you can see, I can make a line from here. You know, I still have so many things here. So I can just make a line from here now. I can make a line from this point. I can make a line like this. I can make a line. So this will be my QS equals B0 plus B1X. Now, if you look at this, there is a variation. What is the variation? Look at what I have here. Normally, if indeed this price is the only external price, if price is the only determinant of this QS, all these lines here must be on this straight line. That is the key. If indeed this statement is correct, all these scattered diagram, all these points here that moved away from this line must be on the line. Then, because they are not on the line, it means this statement is not correct, and that means that there are some particular variables that are also determining quantity supply. Even when we want to deal with price alone, we cannot throw them away, and that is why we need to rewrite our function. That what are those things? What are the factors? Let me quickly give you. Among the factors that can make us to have scatter points this way is the fact that human beings we are not predictable. A man that purchases a good for $2 per unit can decide to purchase it for $5 per unit tomorrow, and no one will be able to explain why. Not because the income increases, no, but it can just feel like. Now, a supplier who supply a particular product today can change for so many reasons which we might not know. Those are the reasons why this scatter diagram can come up. Or it can also be as a result of our error in processing the data. It can also lead to this. It can also be as a result to error of measurements. Maybe when we are measuring the data we've gathered, it can also lead to this. There are so many errors that we can make that can make us to have this particular stuff. Okay, now let's come to this one and we understand what I'm saying now. Look at this. Look at this particular diagram. This is the exact points now. This is the exact point. And this is the price. This is the price, and this is the quantity that ought to be supplied, which is Y1. But there is a variation sometimes. At another period of time, demand is supplying this particular level. You know, if I make this 140 now units, and this can be around 30 units at the same price, at the same price, at the same price. Why is it like that? It could be as a result of delay in production, or maybe there is a strike. For instance, let's say there is strike, there is national strike. If there is national strike, then that national strike might have affected the production. Of course, it's going to affect the production, and when it affects the production, price remains the same, but the supplier will not be able to supply up to 40 because of the strike, national strike, and that is why we have variation here. It could also be sometimes that demand will even supply beyond expectation, and the price will remain the same. Why? Maybe demand has heard that there's going to be fall in price in the future, so demand will want to quickly sell off all his stock, the same price, and it's going to supply more. So that is for this Y1A here. So what am I talking about? There are so many reasons that can, make us to have scatter diagram. Now, in order to correct our notion for this now, based on these factors I've mentioned, we can rewrite our exact function as QS equals B0 plus B1X plus Those factors we don't know. Those factors, it could be omission of variable, it could be random behavior of human which we cannot predict human being, it could be error of measurement, it could be imperfect specification of the mathematical form of the model, it could also be error of aggregate. So all of these can come together to form, to enable us to have this scatter point. Now, this will now represent, it means that we are taking into consideration all other factors that can affect supply aside from price. So that is why we write our exact relationship as QS equals V naught plus V1S plus U. And this U denotes stochastic term or error term. You can call it stochastic term, you can call it error term. That is, now at this point now, our stochastic term below the normal supply is U1 B. That is YB. That is a quantity. For this quantity now, the reason, there is a particular reason why it falls here, which might be among what I've mentioned. For the supplier to supply more beyond this normal position, there is also a particular, that is U, that is stochastic. That stochastic term, it covers all errors that might occur, all factors that might have led to that variation. Please subscribe and get more of our video. In our next video, we are going to do calculation of this regression analysis. We are using regression analysis because it's very easy to compute and it tends to give a predictable value. Please subscribe and get more of our video. Thank you.